In this video, I'll be talking about some of the ways narcissists control their sources of supply. I also want to talk about this vicious little cycle that I believe they find themselves in when it comes to people that they can control versus people who they can't. Threats are a common way that narcissists will attempt to keep control in their relationships, romantic and otherwise. There are times that a narcissist will threaten to leave or end the relationship. They might even threaten some sort of violence. They might also threaten to end things and take really drastic measures to not be here anymore, is I suppose the best way I can say it. I myself encountered one of those threats that if I left, then he just simply wouldn't be around anymore. It guilt trips you into staying and trying to help them because we feel as if they are very depressed and struggling through something. And that's a lot of times the message that they try to convey. They're having all these struggles, and if we leave, then they're just not going to be the same. They really need this help. They might even threaten to stop dealing with things financially, threaten to destroy property. Nothing is truly off limits when it comes to all the kinds of threats a narcissist can make towards you to keep the control in the relationship. I want to talk about something absolutely fascinating that I read in an article, and it was about things called micro manipulations. Manipulating is, of course, the best way for a narcissist to keep control, but the article explained that these micro manipulations are extremely covert ways that narcissists make things all about themselves, and it helps them keep the power and control in the relationship. One person interviewed from the article said that he would get random text messages from an ex of his and then get the follow-up of, "Oops, sorry, that wasn't meant for you." Or they would send a message and then immediately delete the message so that all that this person would see was that they had a message at one point, but now poof, it's just gone. So now here we are thinking about this person again. It's kind of like a roundabout, passive-aggressive little Hoover in a weird way. Now we're thinking about this person. What was the message that they sent, or who was the message sent for? Because it clearly wasn't sent for us, but was it really? And now we're thinking about it. Everything is in the forefront of our mind, and it is a weird little Hoover to keep power, to keep control, to keep us thinking about them. The article also explains that these micro manipulations are things done to garner sympathy, empathy, support, to get you to wonder and worry about them. Things like, "Hey, I can't actually make it. I have a really important doctor's appointment." And right there will make you wonder, right? Well, what are they going to the doctor for? Are they okay? Is it something serious? The message is purposefully ambiguous and vague to get us to bite on the hook and ask what's going on. And then before we know it, they have the attention, they have sympathy, empathy, power, control, they've got it all. They plant vague little seeds of knowledge into your mind and then quickly sweep past it, hoping that that seed will grow and cause you to be curious and inquire about what's going on. But it's all done so covertly and very flippantly. They just slip this little information in to kind of keep you hanging on. If you'd like to talk one-on-one about what you're going through or what you've gone through in a toxic, abusive, narcissistic relationship, you can email BookAChatWithJess@gmail.com to set up private chats with me. Gaslighting is one of the ultimate forms of manipulation to get control. Gaslighting causes you to slowly lose your grip on reality, what's real and what isn't. This can be extremely isolating for a lot of people. We begin to not trust anybody. Most importantly, and most dangerously, we stop trusting ourselves. That's the whole point of it. And what do when we don't trust anybody else and we don't trust ourselves? We go to the one place where, ironically, we feel safe. We end up going to the narcissist for answers to all of our questions, which is exactly what they want. The narcissist wants to be the one to tell you what the deal is, what the reality of it is. They often tell you that you're mentally ill, you need help, you hallucinate and make things up. This is why you go to them looking for the truth when you're so heavily gaslighted. And they happily give you the truth, just their version of it. They fill your head with lies, more gaslighting, more manipulating, and more devaluing. Speaking of that, Devaluing is, of course, what happens after the love bombing phase, and a lot of our devaluing is used to keep control. We get insulted, told nobody else will want us, among other things. It keeps the way you feel about yourself low, dismal, and pretty shitty. And when we're weak and we feel awful about ourselves, we are so much easier to manipulate, manage, and control. We can be triangulated and told how much better somebody else is than us. And this can cause us to try harder to get the attention of the narcissist. Oh, they're telling me that their ex did something so much better, so I should probably work harder, or they might want to be back with their ex. And then before you know it, the narc is getting more supply from you, more time and more attention, and then they completely have all the control. Silent treatments, ghosting, and discarding will always be huge ways that narcs will keep control. All of these things limit or cut communication completely. Narcissists want you to get a taste of what it's like without them. This is supposed to teach you a lesson. You might hear a very common phrase from a lot of narcissists. Well, you need to be taught a lesson. You need to be taught not to do this. And of course, when you're being scolded like a child, obviously they feel as if they're the one in control. They're the one in charge. They run everything. And you had better just get with the program. Discarding is what happens when they have found a new source, or they think they have found somebody better, of course, and they move on. Even after they've left, a lot of times they still have control because they leave so abruptly. And in some cases, we might chase them for answers or another chance. We want closure. We want a conversation. And they still, in a weird way, have power and control because they're cutting and ending communication, leaving us with nothing. And then we go running for them to try to get an answer. One more thing I want to go over that fascinates me that I mentioned in my intro is when it comes to control, a narcissist knows very quickly who they can control and who will just not allow themselves to be controlled by someone toxic like this. And I have this weird theory, so come along with me on this. And if you agree or don't, of course, let me know in the comments. I think what's sad for narcissists anyway is as desperate as they are to just rule over everything and everyone, they get bored of the people that they can control. And I think this is kind of true for everyone. We've all known of a person who will just do anything for anyone. And we have those thoughts about, oh, geez, grow a backbone, will you? Say no, stand up for yourself, and stop being so boring and predictable. We've surely had similar thoughts to that, and that's pretty much what happens with someone narcissistic. So the narcissist is getting what they want in this person that they can control, but we all know how short their attention span is, and it becomes not fun anymore. It's not necessarily that they throw away a source that they're bored of, but it really gets them looking for something else. I think it's curious that they seem to chase those people who they can't control. In the end, a narcissist wants somebody smart, fiery, passionate, someone who usually they don't have control over. It's somebody who won't just hand over that power. And there's something that's oddly sexy to a narcissist, I think, about something like that. However, their need to be in control just overwhelms them. And I feel like this is why they go back and forth and they seem to chase different sources. They chase somebody who is very successful, very well put together, maybe wealthy, something like that. And then it just seems so weird to a lot of us sometimes when they find somebody who isn't very well put together and they're sassy and sarcastic or maybe even rude or something. And I think that's part of the cycle. The really well put together, successful people are boring. And then there's kind of like the wild and crazy. And they want both of those people to kind of mesh together, but that's just simply impossible. And when they go back and forth, I think they have a hard time, of course, breaking down the people who won't give them the control. It just goes back and forth and round, and they can't choose just one. They need both, and of course, they need more than one of both. And just think about how sad that is. You're torn between someone that you're completely bored of and someone who's just maybe wild and crazy or carefree or whatever. And you want both, but neither one of them end up really working out in the end anyway. I just think it's very curious, very sad. And tell me what you think about that theory. It just seems to make sense to me when you see them with a very respected, very well put together, fully functioning adult. And then it seems like they're bored of that, they're over it, and they're running around cheating. And you think to yourself, oh, oh, this person's the complete opposite. Well, I think that's why. They're always looking for those complete polar opposites, and you're just never going to find all of those qualities in the same person. Anyway, tell me what you think about all of this down in the comments. Do you agree or disagree? And what other ways do they try to control and rule over everyone? Thank you so much for listening. Have a great day, survivor, and take care of yourself.